everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I'm Shirley with Holistic Transformations Massage, also known as Jolly with Jolly's Healing Touch. I am a licensed massage therapist. That means I do not diagnose or treat any illnesses. However, I do share information about essential oils. And today I'm so excited to have my co-host, Alecia Deon. Hi, Alecia.
Hi, Shirley. Hi, everyone.
So glad to have you back. This is part two of our series on a three-part series on using crystals and essential oils to balance your chakras. So today we're going to talk about the fourth chakra, which is the heart chakra. So let's go ahead and just jump into it. If you want to share anything a little bit about your chakra work and what you do, and what should we keep in mind when we're dealing and talking about the heart chakra?
Okay. So with the heart chakra, this is like the balancing point of the entire system, right? So it's at the center. It deals with love, unconditional love, that is, and self-forgiveness, and all of these things that once you get past the lower three chakras, which deal a lot with, fear and guilt and shame, the way that you overcome those things is through unconditional love and is through self-forgiveness and just being very understanding and showering yourself with love and opening up to the possibility of receiving that kind of love back. So, the idea that the love you give yourself will, in essence, teach someone else how to love you and how to support you because you know what it feels like already. So I think the heart chakra, the work is endless. If I do root chakra work, I'm doing heart chakra work alongside it. Like I do them together all the time. And I think there are like layers. I've done some like research and from what I've read, there are layers to the heart chakra and to the healing. So that's very interesting as well.
Awesome. So I have some questions for you. How does someone know if their heart chakra is unbalanced or needs some attention and some love?
Okay, so when we say unbalanced, the chakras can be overacting or under. So with under, for the heart chakra, I think feeling very blocked emotionally is always a good sign. The idea that, crying and these expressive emotions are a bad thing. And so, some people tend to block themselves off from feeling and all that. That's not a great sign for the heart chakra at all. I think in television, like cartoons, we'll see the example of like having a black hole as a heart or something like that to symbolically reference, not being connected to that part of yourself, to your emotions. So it also can be overacting and you want, in that way, you're giving too much, you're too compassionate, you're too, we don't think about those things, but sometimes you can give too much. And when there's a lack of boundaries, I think the heart chakra is one of the first places that we can look to.
I really love the idea of overactive and underactive and finding the middle ground.
Right.
It's really a great thing for me to think about in my healing is finding that balance. Not, and boundaries are a part of that as well. Setting boundaries and having others and us respect those boundaries for ourselves. Thank you. Also wanted to ask, what crystals would you use to help balance an overactive or underactive heart chakra?
So rose quartz is the most popular. There are a couple of others. I know the different types of tourmaline are good, but this is my rose quartz here. It's like a huge natural one that I have, and I just keep it in my room. So that is my favorite. For folks who wear bras or anything like that, you can just stick one in there. You'll forget when you get home and you take it off, it might fly, but that's okay. That was one of the ways that when I first started doing my healing, I would always stick a rose quartz in my bra or something like that. and just to have that energy. I felt like, as somebody who was learning and developing in emotional intelligence, opening my heart chakra through the use of rose quartz, it kind of, I guess, kind of peels back the layers and all the things that had been blocked and kind of helped me open up. And it was because it's such a passive process, you just, put an intention into the crystal and stick it there, you kind of forget about it, and it's not as emotionally intense as, journaling and doing all of these other things. So I do like to have a balance of those things. So I'm like, look, sometimes I'm tired of crying. I can't do any more crying or journaling today. But, you can have the rose quartz and have other crystals like that.
So you remind me, there was a time a few years back when I was doing a lot of self-work and self-love, and rose quartz was so pivotal in that for me. So I have my rose quartz that I was trying to show you, but there's so much light that I don't know if this is a little better. Just, yeah, to see the rose quartz. So I would have, and I think I had a smaller piece that I would put in my bra, and I would go and I would, I taught all day, I worked all day with it, and I really felt, this loving energy around me. It's hard to articulate, but I really felt it. And then I have this piece now that I recently bought. I don't know if you can see. No, you can't see that one at all. But that one I keep in my purse. It's a little bit rougher. So rose quartz has always been helpful for me. And even if I just remember that it's there, I think about loving myself and think about nurturing myself and doing practices and things to nurture myself. Instead of, when I was younger, the idea of someone loving me, and well, what about me loving myself? What does that look like? And that took a while. That took a few years for me to really create some practices of self-love, including creating those boundaries, to say, no, this is not acceptable, or yes, I want more of, what feels good and what is good for me. So rose quartz was so pivotal in that. So thank you for talking about rose quartz. Rose quartz is the one people go to. I love yours. Yours is absolutely beautiful.
That was like the first one I bought, and it's been with me since I think I began my spiritual practice in earnest. So it's just a little comfort to have it here, and just, energy of the room and everything. Yeah. I love that you mentioned like the idea of self-nurturing, because that's a little bit different than self-care. That idea of nurturing and love, we always think about it as something that we have to receive from someone else. Yes. And the idea that if you don't receive it from someone else, you're at a deficit or something like that. And we know that, human relationships are very important and they're significant, but the love that you give yourself that's it. That's the definition of what love means. Yeah. It's not the lack, and it's not the, what you haven't gotten or what you have gotten from anyone else. It's what you define. I know that, we have like the idea of like love languages and stuff like that. Yes. And somebody could very well love you and love you in the wrong, quote unquote language. And if you don't receive that, then it's like, am I being loved? And, there's so many questions when it comes to receiving love from other people. But the beautiful thing about, like, I do a lot of like inner child healing and the talking about nurturing and self-care, you get to love yourself in the language that you speak and that you feel and understand. And I don't think anyone can replicate that. If the self-love is missing, it's just it's a really big void. And I don't think any love can fulfill it, can fill it.
I agree completely. And I love how you mentioned the love languages, because I was just thinking about that the other day. My husband and I speak different love languages. So I love to tell him all day long how much I love him. Oh, I love you, I love you, I love you. Praise him all day, yeah. But he does things, he cooks, he cleans, he does little things for here's this thing I did for you, or create things. So, but I feel like if I didn't tell myself or love myself, I may not be able to recognize it, because he's not speaking it all day like I do, you know? And so I thought that was very interesting. And also loving myself, I have to watch myself talk since my love language is speech, you know, like to tell people, I text you all day. I love you, Alecia. I miss you. I
No,
just,
it's my favorite. It's my favorite. I love it.
but that's how I express it. I speak it. And so I watch myself love, myself talk, you know, and we're hard on ourselves. You know, we're really hard and very critical and very judgmental. And if I notice that voice come in, I try to follow it with you're doing your best. You know, I try to speak to myself as I would speak to my 2-year-old in that sense. You're trying, you're going to try again. You're doing good. I'm proud of you. Keep it up, you know, things like that. Instead of being so critical. Am I always on top of it? Not always, but I'm so much better than I was before. You know, where we picked up this negative self-talk, you know, I don't know, but it when I first noticed it, I'm like, wow, I really am very, very critical of myself. I really feel like my rose quartz helped me as a reminder of speaking kindly to myself. I used to have a bad habit of every time I made a mistake, I would go, duh. You know, I mean, I wouldn't do that to my students. Why am I doing it to myself? I wouldn't do it to a child. Why am I doing it to myself? And so I remember making an intention with my rose quartz. Every time I did that, I would say 3 good things about myself, or, you know, and it's a practice. It's a practice. Well worth it. So, but it is definitely a practice.
I love that. I think the idea is that, you know, we are, wherever we picked up the negative self-talk and all those things, we have to go through the process of retraining ourselves. You are literally trying to create a new pathway in your brain that says we don't do this anymore, you know, and that's going to take some time because you've been doing it for, by the time you get to your mid 20s, your early 30s, like you've been doing it. It's just a natural part of you almost. And it's sad that that's where we are, but I love that, you know, you're so deliberate with how you raise your son and you actually speak in this way, and you know that just by the example of this is how I speak to him, so this is how I speak to myself as well. And so even in that practice, you're nurturing your own inner child and you get that love. I think that's the beautiful thing about spirituality, is like this, the idea that time is not linear. So even though you are an adult, you're still doing this inner child healing, and it's still it's having an impact on you. It's having, you know, there's part of you that's now being fulfilled, whether or not you had that when you were growing up, you know. So I love that concept, and just being able um to give ourselves the things we never had as children and the things that we did want. um I think that's a really beautiful part of, you know, doing heart chakra work and inner child healing.
Yes. I love this, and I love this conversation we're having. And I think it's perfect timing with this pandemic and some people spending so much time, you know, alone or at home with their partners, with their families. It's an opportunity. I think sometimes we look at it as this is a negative thing, and a lot of bad things are happening to some people. However, it is also an opportunity for us to heal ourselves and nurture ourselves. And I think chakra work, heart chakra work, is so beneficial. And this is the perfect time for it since we have all of this, you know, time on our hands.
Exactly. So I think for me, just watching people be so resistant to staying at home, I just find it almost comical, because to me it just looks like, you know, this is a huge spiritual test on some level. Like, you know, there are multiple layers to what's happening, and it's a spiritual test, and a lot of people are not passing because they're terrified to be at home and to be with themselves. And I think that's more common. Like, more people are afraid of facing themselves and doing the work of loving themselves and really facing themselves. I think part of heart chakra work also speaks to what's called shadow work. So this is, you know, the process of in essence facing all of the things about yourself that you don't like, that maybe you judge harshly, or you feel shame and guilt, you feel all of those things about. And so with the heart chakra work, you're essentially integrating that part of you. You're not rejecting it, you're not judging, you're not doing any of that. You are just fully accepting that I am a human being with light and dark. You know, I'm a full person. I have all of these experiences, and you know, nothing takes away from my value as a human being, my self-worth, all of that. So it's a very hard process. And so I completely understand that people run away from it and that they're unwilling to do it, but it's very important. And I think that's one of um, the underlying purposes of this year, is really for us to do that healing work as a collective, um, because we are all connected. And you know, the more I heal my family, healing my ancestors, all of that. You know, that's the purpose of spiritual work, that we're doing this on multiple layers, and the benefit is not just for us. It's, you know, in essence, can create a better society, can create better relationships, all of those things. And um, we tend to project that outwards, like, okay, how can I go and fix somebody else or donate or help or do other things? And it's like, you can also start with yourself, and you can also start by sitting down somewhere for 30 minutes and just saying some positive affirmations, or, you know, doing whatever feels good to you, and just starting there.
Yes. Beautiful, beautiful. So can you tell me a little bit about healing, or actually cleansing your chakra stones? How would you go about cleansing your rose quartz?
So there are multiple ways. Um, so this is a special little mixture here that I have. So that is Florida water. Um, what else is in there? I have some camphor in there, which is really, really powerful. And sometimes, like, I'll just spray that on there before I use them. You can use Himalayan salt. Some of them do degrade in water, so you will have to be careful, like no soaking, but you can definitely, you know, like rinse it or run it under moonlight, sunlight, and smoke cleansing, of course. That's probably one of the most common ways, but I love Florida water. I think that's my favorite way.
So I washed mine. Not so much with soap and water, but just with water. I like wash it like with water, and just like, you know, kind of run, you know, my crystals underwater, not with soap. Is that a good way of cleansing my oil?
Yeah, if you add some like Himalayan salt to it, Himalayan salt is a really, really great cleanser. I use it on myself weekly, on a weekly basis. So yeah.
That's great. Good. Okay. And what are some practices to help balance your heart chakra?
So with the heart chakra, this deals with truth, right? So the idea is that you don't run away from yourself, right? And so with that shadow work, is just it's hand in hand. I wouldn't even know how to have this conversation without talking about shadow work. So it's just being willing to tell yourself the truth about yourself. You know, Alecia, you could do a little bit better in this area. Or, you know, I don't think that was okay, but I still love you and I forgive you, and it's okay. We'll do better next time. Just that constant, like you were talking about, the self-talk, the idea, you know, shadow work does manifest, or the shadow does manifest in our minds and in our thoughts, and in those, just replaying all the, you know, the things we've done that we're not proud of, and just finding new ways to beat ourselves up about things that have happened 10 years ago. Just there's so many things, there's so much that goes on in the mind, and it's so important to get a handle on that. So definitely I think journaling as well. I like to use art therapy, just anything to express yourself and to get that energy flowing. For me, like, I'm a Pisces sun, so it's very, very important that I get all of my watery, moody emotions out, and I just, you know, speak them out, or cry them out, paint them out, whatever way I feel connected to that day. But it's something that I do on a daily basis. One of my websites, I have a Patreon, and so I share energy forecasts, and that was my main purpose, is that I need you to print this out, sit down somewhere every day, read through it and answer these questions about how you're feeling, about how you're processing based on, I do divination, so based on tarot readings, and just sharing what you can work on right now and how to do it. So just reflecting, just taking time to sit with yourself. In essence, like if you had a child, you would, play with them, take them to the park, hang out with them. So it's the same thing. You kind of have to treat your own inner child that way, and spend time journaling, spend time in silence, and just be very deliberate about doing that work on a daily basis.
So I know you mentioned earlier affirmation. Affirmation has been a lifesaver for me. And I have like an app, and I'll put that in the description box below, as well as your website and a link to our video from before, because you're absolutely right when you're saying that chakra work, when you're dealing with the heart chakra, sometimes they do correlate with the root chakra and the sacral chakra, right? So yeah, I find that very, very key. Affirmations. I am love. I am peace. I am forgiving. I forgive myself. And you can write your own affirmations, but there's also apps out there if you need help, because I at first needed help with writing affirmations. I would write things that I didn't want to keep affirming, but I had to relook at it and reword. I am courageous. I am learning. I forgive myself, like I said. So those affirmations are really, really powerful, particularly when that voice comes in or the fear comes in, and then you go back to your affirmations. Believe it or not, it gives me strength to continue to do what I need to do.
A good exercise right now would be to like if you fold a sheet of paper in half and you write on one side, like, what this negative self-talk is. And then on the other side, you kind of cancel that out and say, I am, a good person. I am intelligent. I am whatever. But it's important that you address them in the moment. So as soon as they come up, you don't let them sit, because it's, in essence, it's like a seed being planted. But that's not, whatever you don't want to proliferate and to grow, you need to kind of extract it and make sure that it's not settling into your energy, into your mind, into anything. So whatever your negative self-talk is, find something to counter it. So when I do chakra work, say, for example, it's root chakra work or heart chakra, and the person does not feel loved, they don't feel safe, they don't feel whatever it is that their particular experience is, I have them write an affirmation that counters that and is positive and it's healing, because it speaks directly to your experience, not just, something general. I do I think his name is Landrell, and he has like these really really great affirmations for all of the chakras. And so like I'll play that in the morning most times when I wake up, and I just, just have it flood into my mind and into my spirit. So that's a really good feeling in the mornings. And then like I'll meditate or something afterwards to really focus in. But definitely you want to like stop the negative self-talk and everything that comes with that in the moment. So even if, for me, it was very hard to go from doing it to just completely stopping. So I would like pause myself. Like the negative self-talk would come in and I would say, like, just cut myself off in the middle of whatever sentence was happening. So I couldn't completely stop it, but I don't have to let it finish. And I don't have to, there's just, even if you turn it into a process, whatever works for you, just know that, just to have that intention that I'm not allowing this into my energy, into my mind, whatever the case is, and just starting the process of reversing and planting the seeds that you want to plant.
So the color that's associated with the heart chakra is green.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, so the color green is associated with the heart chakra. So would I be correct in saying if wearing green can help amplify that if needed?
Yeah, definitely. Green, they'll say, eat green foods, just surround yourself. And I love the fact that nature is full of green. So, just being out in nature. And I remember when I first started my like meditation practice, I would just imagine myself in this like green orb. And, later on I come to learn, that it's heart chakra, it's for healing and stuff. So definitely using color and the foods that you eat and everything to help that can definitely work.
Wonderful, wonderful. I know walking in nature is so helpful. So taking a walk in the park or taking a walk around your neighborhood, around trees and the grass. I've heard someone say that planting your feet, I think it was even you, telling me that just planting your feet on the grass is so helpful and so healing. So wonderful. Some oils that you can help to use to help balance out your heart chakras. Palmorosa. Palmorosa is a great oil for opening the heart. And geranium. Geranium is really good for balancing heart chakra energies. Also, my go-tos are lavender. Also, I use Joy. Joy is a Young Living essential oil blend that has jasmine in it, and it is magnificent. I just love it. Jasmine is such a, I don't know, I always feel so much love when I have jasmine on, when I smell jasmine. Ylang Ylang is another one. Sandalwood and frankincense. So these essential oils can help in balancing the heart chakra. Reach out for help if you need if you have some questions or you need a community. Reach out to us. Reach out to Alecia. Reach out to us through our comments. Alecia will have her email and her web address on the description box, so you can contact her, and I will do the same as well. All right. So thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Please like, share, subscribe. In the comments, if you have an experience on chakra work, chakra balancing using crystals, using essential oils, please share. And if you have any questions, please feel free to comment. Also, subscribe to our channel, hit the bell so that you can get notified anytime that we release a video. So please look forward to our part 3, which will be coming out soon. Thanks again and have a wonderful day. Bye.